Beautiful boxing fans, after doing my videos the past couple of days in the car, we are back here. And let me tell you this, I am back with some unbelievable news. Canelo Alvarez, one of the greatest fighters of all time, the king of Mexico, one of the greatest fighters to ever do it, one of the greatest fighters my eyes ever saw. The man just came out and he literally did an interview with the Ring magazine 45 minutes ago. And let me tell you this, Canelo Alvarez dropped some unbelievable gems in this interview. And the thing that stuck out to me the most in this incredible interview is this. Mike Coppinger, I will post the link of the interview in the description. Mike Coppinger told Canelo, he was like, Terence Crawford can't hurt you, right? And what did Canelo say? How did Canelo respond? He was like, in this fight, we gotta be very focused because anybody can hurt anybody. Let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. You know, actually, yes, Canelo Alvarez does have one of the greatest chins my eyes ever saw. Why? Because the man, mainly, his defense is unbelievable. He is incredibly gifted when you talk about chin. I mean, the man's head, he has that Roblox head. The man's head is made of granite. And also the man knows how to roll with shots unlike anyone else. But the reason why Canelo Alvarez is so sharp when it comes to his defense is because he knows that he can be hurt. He knows that he's not invincible, and he just said it. I mean, yes, I did say many times that Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin and Marvin Hagler, those three men, they have the three greatest chins, in my opinion. Maybe you guys know more than me. I'm not the biggest boxing historian. But let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I've always said that Canelo, Golovkin, and Hagler, those three men, they have the three greatest chins ever. Why? Because all those three men, most of all, they all know that they are not invincible. They bleed just like you and me. They are made of flesh just like you and me. So they can definitely be hurt just like you and me. Now, can they be hurt? Now, do they have better chins than most than 99.9% of boxers? Of course, but that still doesn't change the fact that they can all be hurt. And look at Canelo Alvarez. The man literally just said it. He literally just said that he needs to be careful and focus in this fight and sharp because he knows that anybody can be hurt. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying this. What did I say last week when I posted a video? Forget last week. I posted a video 2 days ago. And the title of the video was titled, Anything Can Happen in This Fight. Now, why did I make that video? I made that video for this exact reason. For the reason that Canelo just said, you and me, us, beautiful boxing fans, we are so enamored with Canelo's defense and Bud's defense and Canelo's chin and Bud's chin and all the right things that we have been talking about, you and me, for the last few weeks. But the reason why I said anything can happen is because it is simply the truth. It is simply the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Throughout history, we can use history in the sport of boxing as our horoscope. And history shows that no man is ever invincible. No man is ever unhurtable or untouchable. Listen, even though Canelo was a kid, Canelo was a baby, he was 19 years old when he fought Miguel Cotto's big brother and when he got wobbled and hurt bad by him in his first fight in America. And actually, there's an interview that was posted earlier this week. They asked Canelo, when was the moment that you knew that, okay, holy shit, this is boxing? He was like, my first fight in America. Why? Because he discovered that night that he was everything but invincible, just like anyone else. And that is a superpower, ladies and gentlemen. Ignorance can get you in a world of trouble. So when you are aware and when you are coherent and when you fully realize that anything and everything can happen in the squared circle, and that is why it is called the theater of the unknown, is because we think we know what's gonna happen. The Vegas odds, they think they know what's gonna happen. But if the Vegas odds truly knew what was gonna happen, no underdog would have ever won a fight. But I actually saw a stat that I believe in every 2 big cards, at least one big underdog wins, or something along those lines, which means that nearly on every single weekend, from the beginning of time in boxing, nearly every weekend, a favorite loses and an underdog rises and wins and shocks the world. And when we talk about the chin of Canelo, and when we talk about Canelo's upper body defense, when we talk about the way that he rolls with shots, I mean, he does it like no one else does it. But just because he does it better than 99.9%, that doesn't mean that he can be hurt like 100% of humans. No human is ever invincible. No human is ever unbeatable. I mean, listen, I'll give you an example. Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. is way past his prime. But when he was in his prime, Chris Eubank, we heard the sparring stories with him and Richard Riakporhe. Richard Riakporhe is 6'7" heavyweight now. He's a heavyweight contender, former cruiserweight title challenger. The man used to go to war with Richard Riakporhe, and the man used to go to war with the former heavyweight champion of the world, David Haye. And there's an interview of David Haye saying that Chris Eubank Jr. got one of the best chins in history. Why? It's because he said that he hit Chris Eubank Jr. in sparring with shots that big heavyweights in the ring couldn't handle. But Chris Eubank took them like they were nothing. But then what happened? When Chris Eubank Jr. fought Liam Smith, a former 147-pounder, he put him down and he cleaned his clock and knocked him out. Why? It's not because Liam Smith hit harder than David Haye. No, it's because Liam Smith threw a punch in between the combination that he threw. He threw a punch that Chris Eubank never saw coming. And that is how a knockout transpires, ladies and gentlemen. The biggest punch doesn't knock you out, but the punch that you don't see is the punch that knocks you out. And even, I posted a video yesterday about this. Jojo Diaz came out and said, he was like, the interviewer told him, he was like, I don't think Crawford can hurt Canelo because Golovkin couldn't hurt him. The interviewer is not a boxer, of course, but Jojo, the boxer, said, and listen, Jojo got one of the best chins I've ever seen in my life. Jojo Diaz, he fought everyone and anyone, all the way from like 126 to 147. And the man never got dropped in sparring or in training. And what did Jojo say? He was like, no, Crawford can definitely knock out Canelo. And the interviewer was like, really? He was like, yeah, let me tell you why. It's because Gennady Golovkin, he hits harder than Terence, but when Golovkin throws his punches are slower than Crawford's punches. So Canelo can see them coming and roll with them. But Crawford can knock out Canelo by throwing a punch that Canelo doesn't see. And you know what's the punch that Crawford throws best that you don't see? Is his lead and back uppercuts. And you know what's the punch that most people don't see actually in the fight, especially when you have a high guard? It's the uppercut. So all I'm saying is this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying anything. Canelo Alvarez, one of the greatest fighters of all time, he just said it, not me. He said in this fight, we need to be very careful and very focused because anyone can hurt anyone. And Mike Coppinger, and Canelo is a boxer, and Coppinger, the guy who never boxed, or I believe never sparred, not once in his entire existence, he told Canelo, he was like, Crawford can't hurt you, right? Why did he say that phrase? Because he was never punched in the face by an elite fighter. But Canelo, who's been punched in the face thousands of times by elite fighters in the gym and in fighting, he told him, he said, no, anybody can hurt anybody. And actually, I love hearing that from Canelo. I love hearing that. You know why I love hearing that? Because that means that Canelo is preparing to be sharper than ever, to be tighter than ever, to be more aware and more coherent inside the setting of this fight more than ever. Why? I'll tell you why. Because he simply knows that in the theater of the unknown, anything, and I mean anything and everything, can happen when two elite fighters, regardless of the weight, regardless of the height, regardless of the reach, regardless of the muscle mass, regardless of the chin and the reputation and the resume, anything, and I mean anything, can happen. And Canelo Alvarez, the man with one of the greatest chins in history, the man literally just came out and told us that exactly. Oh my God, I can't wait for this fight. Join me, beautiful people. Join me for my live stream for this fight. We're gonna have an absolute blast, you and me, my fellow beautiful boxing fan. Bring on September 13.